Football and managing track?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Luckily here we have practices in the morning, and my track practices are in the afternoon. So I get here in the morning, do everything with football, and then grab lunch, and then any little time I have, I'll spend in the film room with the guys for 20, 25 minutes, and I have to hit the road to go to RCP to train for track until about 3 o'clock, and then usually by that time my day's done.
Are you in track shape right now?
Whew. I'm in some kind of shape. I don't know what shape I'm in, but I'm in some kind of shape. Not exactly, just because balancing both of them, it's hard to like really focus on one or the other. And so I'm trying to like, with where my headspace is at, I'm trying like at noon is like I flip my switch and I'm like focused on track. But before noon, it's like I'm all football, focused on this, focused on whatever, blah blah blah. And then once noon comes, it's like all right, think about track, think about doing all the little technical cues I would try to think of and work on in practice.
Coach Pauls has said you've been working with some of the new guys in the program. What have you seen from like Tyler Mercer and Amir Herring?
Yeah, those guys are smart. I mean, I remember Tyler whenever he first got here, he came up to me. He was like, "Dude, I want to get in the film and I want to learn. I want to learn about the offense. I want to learn how you see the defense. I want to learn how that kind of what goes through your head." And so with him being a younger guy and me being, I guess now one of the oldest in the program. Oh, that's weird to say. Oh my gosh. No, but he came up to me and said, "I want to watch film. I want to learn from you." And so we got to learning. We got to doing all this stuff. And him and Amir both are so smart. I think it was day one, and Coach Paulson was trying to like pick on like all the new guys and try to be like, "All right, so what do we do here, Tyler?" And he was like, "Boom, immediate answer." And he was like, Coach Paulson was like, "Okay, all right, all right, cool guy." But no, they're both really smart. They're both athletic. They're both super super strong. So I'm excited to see what they can do throughout the rest of spring.
Is this the first time you've had to balance football and track at the same time? Did you ever do that at A&M?
Fully, yeah. So at A&M it was kind of difficult because of practices both being in the afternoon, and so it was really difficult. Whenever I could get out there at A&M, the best I could, I would, but it would just be so rare for that to happen with the weight training and stuff like that we had to do for track as well. I'd get started at 2 and get done at like 5:36, and then at that point, A&M was pretty much, they were already done with their practices and meetings and all that stuff. And so being here has been a big blessing in order to like actually be able to balance it. I feel like my body's in a pretty good position. Shout out to the strength staff. They've really got me right and keep keeping my body up to date and stuff like that.
So like how many if you're doing like 2 workouts a day, like how many calories are you having to burn? How much are you having to eat then?
Well, so I've been kind of losing weight. So last year I played at like 322, 323, and towards the end of the season, I could kind of feel myself getting like, super tired, like almost like lackadaisical per se. It was just like couldn't move as fast, didn't feel as athletic, and so I kind of made it a point to myself that I wanted to play this year at a lighter weight. So right now I'm sitting at about 305, and I feel really good, feel way different. It's kind of weird what 15 pounds can do. I don't know, but no, yeah, it's I don't know, probably. I'd say I'm close to burning probably 3,500 maybe calories, and I don't have to worry about the calories that I eat. I eat plenty. I'm never worried about that.
Coach Leipold talked about load managing you a little bit with some of these. What's that been like? How helpful can that be for you?
Yeah, definitely. I think it gives me a wider view of our offense. Our offense isn't really going to change that much. There are a few changes in there that I'm learning just as well as other guys are learning, but I'm able to sit back and look at formations and motions. So when I hear my quarterback say a play in the huddle, I can imagine, okay, I have this wide out here, I have this guy coming across the motion all the way across the formation, so I know how the box structure might change based off of a coverage that I see or something like that can kind of help me a little bit pre-snap determine, so I'm not trying to react on the run when the ball snapped. I have a little bit more of an idea of when the ball's going to be snapped. I kind of know where people are going to end up.
Bryce, with last year being your first year, now you've been in, do you take a more of a leadership role right now?
Yeah, for sure. I had a meeting with Coach DA, and he was like, since Bryce Kibbedu and Mike Ford, when they left, they were kind of the leaders of our group last year. Bryce was definitely the more vocal one of the two, but everyone respected Mike to the highest of authority. And so when they left, Coach D had a meeting with me. He was like, "You're gonna be my guy for this year. You, Calvin, and Kobe are gonna be like my 3 main leaders of this group, and we need you three to like take the next step. And so I've never been a super vocal leader throughout any point in my career, even in high school. It just hasn't really been me. But I decided to take initiative of that and change, and so I feel like I've been doing a lot better in the vocal aspect. Of course, there's always times to improve, but yeah, for sure.
What was it like going through a full offseason of strength and conditioning after having gotten here in the summer last year?
Yeah, it was fun. I actually really enjoy our strength conditioning stuff. I feel like it translates really, really well to the field, and I kind of felt that last season. They were like always in the beginning of fall camp, you're always going to get tired and stuff like that. But the way we structure our practices and the way we structure our strength conditioning programs, when we get to that first game, you don't really ever get tired. You don't really think about getting tired. I mean, a lot of the drives we had were like 12, 14 play drives whenever we scored. I think we had 2 or 3 drives last year that might have been under 10 plays that we scored a touchdown on. And so, just being able to have that longevity and that long of drives, it tires out the defense and it kind of gets us more excited.
I know you said